Is the internet as we know it dying? I've been working in tech and media for 6 years, Web 2, Web 3, you name it, I've probably dabbled in it. With my career, I've seen firsthand how much the internet is evolving, and I firmly believe that within the next 5 to 10 years, the internet as we know it will cease to exist, and it's going to start looking very different than what we know today. If you've spent any time online, you must have noticed this as well. Something feels off. You can just sense it. If you search for anything online now, you just become buried and bombarded with garbage, honestly. Recycled blog posts, SEO bait, faceless, robotic YouTube videos. Even your LinkedIn feed is becoming oddly filled with very similar looking and style content. There's a lot of M dashes that I'm seeing these days. It's somehow both very cluttered, but also starting to feel very empty. I think we are in the middle of a massive shift in the way that we interact with the internet, but a lot of people haven't really noticed yet. What was once this vibrant, chaotic, human-driven ecosystem is quickly becoming something else entirely. It's automated, it's sanitized, and it's increasingly being controlled by AI and algorithms. That's why I thought that we should talk about in a video what the heck is going on with the internet and where is this all going? I would love to unpack it with you guys. I think there are a couple different important trends and concepts that are all coming together to create this shift in the internet. We're seeing the rise of AI slop. SEO, or search engine optimization as we used to know it, is dying a slow and painful death. We're seeing people generally move their time away from the open internet to walled garden environments like TikTok or Reddit. There are chatbots everywhere that are starting to diminish web traffic to normal websites. And some people just straight up believe that the internet is dead. That's where the dead internet theory comes from. So all these different things play together in interesting ways, and I felt that we need to talk about it all. By the way, my name's Cassidy, and on this channel, I talk about all things tech, media, and intentional living and society. Let's start with one of the most obvious shifts. At least it has felt obvious to me in my classic web surfing driven internet usage, the rise of AI slop. This is the term that people are using to describe the massive wave we are seeing of low effort, low quality AI generated content that has just started flooding the internet. Nothing has been spared, from blog posts to product reviews, news articles, YouTube videos, you name it. You're probably interacting with more AI generated content than you realize. Even as a creator on the internet, you probably are coming up against this a lot, trying to help you finish a review by leveraging their AI writing tools. I also see this all the time on LinkedIn, like put in 20 words and then AI will actually just take it from there. AI is gonna write it all for you. There's an interesting influx of very robotic text-to-speech style YouTube videos that are faceless and instead only have stock footage that's being used, so really just strips back any human element from it. And I'm pretty convinced that all blog posts or articles, maybe not all, but quite a few blog posts and articles these days are using AI in some way. I know that I have a platform that I've used to do like basic website, web page building in the past, and they are always trying to sell through using their AI generating writing prompts. It's like basically just saying, oh, we can fix your SEO by just basically flooding this website that you've created with AI written blog posts entirely. It's like you can put in the theme and then they'll just like write it all for you. It's cheap, it's fast, but it's soulless, and it's drowning out content that's been made by actual human beings. There have been multiple studies now that actually point to the fact that over 50% of newly published online content is utilizing or contains AI generated language in some way or another. And that number is only rising, and we're gonna see it continue to rise. And what's happening from that? It's just total information pollution. It's just immense amounts of recycled, regurgitated garbage. And at some point, much further down the line, or apparently not that much further down the line, because of the fact that these LLMs, these AI tools, they leverage and use past data and past writing to then generate it's like generative AI. It's using this past knowledge and database to then create future content. It's all gonna start to circulate and recycle itself more and more and more. And like the internet is probably gonna end up flattening, and we're gonna see a lot of the same themes and a lot of the same just content out there. You can't trust anything that you are reading, anything that you are seeing, honestly. There are more and more AI like faces, AI influencers that are out there, voices are being generated by AI, and even if what they are saying and even if what they are writing is factually correct, it really lacks nuance and voice and personality, and at the end of the day, it lacks that human value that comes from inherently connecting with another human being and learning from each other and like our thoughts here. And it doesn't stop there. Beyond AI slop, Google, let's think about this. Google used to be the entry point to the internet. If you wanted to get somewhere online, you probably went to google.com, you went to the browser and you typed in something. And remember back in the day when you like first started learning how to use the internet or using Google, and you just got all of this information and all of these articles and all of this at once? That was amazing. Google, honestly, from the beginning, just as a web browser, like in its simplest form, what an amazing service it used to be. Emphasis on the word used. Or used to. Past tense. Emphasis on the past tense. Nowadays, Google is starting to feel more and more broken for many different reasons. Search results are now being dominated by a number of different things. Firstly, they are being just pumped with ads. Oh my goodness, why is it that we can't search for something basic without the first 5 things that pop up being ads these days? Like, Google, come on, find other ways to monetize. Then there's all this SEO bait because websites want to make sure that they are like listing in the top 10 or at least on the top page of the browser results. Then there's spam and AI written blogs. Like, basically the search results that you are getting from Google aren't hitting the same way that they used to. There's research out there that shows that over 90%, like the vast majority of web content, never receives web traffic. That means that 9 out of 10 websites are not getting any people clicking through from Google to their site. It isn't a matter of getting to some real content out there. It's all just like an algorithmic popularity contest to get to the top page of Google's search results. So if you've ever thought about building a blog as a way to have a passive income stream and just like monetize it with AdSense, maybe think again. And because of this way that Google is broken, you and I, like users of the internet, basic average Joe consumers, we're just starting to adapt the way that we do research and look for information. Instead of going to Google, we are going to places that we trust more. We are going directly to Reddit, to TikTok, to YouTube. Like, these are other massive walled garden environments that are becoming the new search engines. They're becoming the new web browsers. These offer a different environment. They are walled gardens where the content is siloed, but you can kind of know that the engagement is hopefully going to be a little bit more human driven and going to be higher in general. I know I do this all the time. I very, very often type in whatever I want to find on Google and will just add Reddit at the end of it if I want to make sure that I'm getting like recommendations from actual humans or want to make sure that the content, like the reviews that I'm reading, are from other genuine people. Like, no longer am I sifting through 10 different sites, especially when the search results are so bad. I would rather just go to a couple different Reddit threads and like synthesize that information to get to whatever I'm trying to conclude. And it makes sense why we're doing this. I definitely have done this a lot. I'm sure you have as well. I honestly think that Reddit could eventually become like the next big search engine. It could probably at some point in time take over the dominance from Google, but that's a little bit of a low confidence bet of mine, I would say. But it's not all good, the fact that we are adapting in this way, because these platforms are developed to keep you trapped in their environments. They want you in their ecosystem. They don't want you out there on the open web, just like browsing around online. They want to make sure that they are harvesting as much engagement from you, making sure that you are scrolling endlessly on their own platform, platform, so at the end of the day, they can monetize. I've talked about that dynamic in many, many, many different videos of mine, but yeah, at the end of the day, they want to keep you trapped so they can monetize your eyeballs. TikTok, my former employer, now receives over 1.5 billion monthly active users. We know YouTube is somewhere close to 3 billion, and Reddit as well has just been growing and growing, and their redesign has made it more and more user-friendly as for a long time. I mean, they are still kind of the upstarts in this scenario, but I think Reddit will continue to grow. As these platforms gain their foundation in our culture and society, and just generally this human adaptation as to how we want to find information and research things continues to evolve, traditional websites start to lose more and more traffic. And when basic human general creators on the internet are starting to see less people engage with their content, they're going to be disincentivized to keep creating. So eventually, the internet will truly start to feel more and more empty, because if people aren't seeing any traffic to their websites or their blogs, then why create the blog in the first place? Thank you to anyone who is creating no matter what, but sometimes posting into the empty void can feel a little disheartening. And this leads us to one of the most eerie theories that is out there, or at least eerily named, the dead internet theory. This is the idea that a growing portion of web activity that is happening online is no longer even human generated. It's not being driven by humans. Basically, the claim is that online activity is no longer actually real. It's just bots talking to other bots. It's AIs generating content for other AIs to interact with. And all the while, algorithms are just continuing to amplify the noise more and more. And there have actually been some studies to back this up. One study showed that now over 50% of all internet traffic is being driven by bots. Think about that. That means that more than half of the activity that's happening online is happening not by humans. They have officially started to outnumber us, you guys. The bots are taking over, or at least so says this theory. Whether you fully believe this or not, or if you've started to feel this and encounter this in your daily life, there's definitely some grains of truth to it. There's less soul, there's less serendipity, and there's less humanity in the feeds we are consuming and the search results we are getting. And I don't think that this is all a coincidence. And then of course there's even more AI. Chatbots like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google are all starting to change the ways that we interact with and collect information. With humans starting to rely more and more on convenience culture, which I have talked about in previous videos, the question becomes, why would you go to Google and search and click on 10 different website links to research and check citations and make sure you're having the most accurate and factual information, when instead you could just have one browser open and have an AI-generated summary that is taking the information from all of those different sites and then putting it all into a little blurb for you to easily digest. Yum, yum, yum. While this may be more efficient, it's killing the internet, you guys. I remember when I was in middle school and we actually took full-on classes on how to do proper research on the internet. Like, from being taught how to do research for papers and stuff by going to the library and reading books and finding the right sections and then learning how to cite those properly in your essays. Then we learned how to do this on the internet, and even then you were going to very specific research-driven sites. You were using Google's articles to ensure that you were still finding like scientifically proven and multiple sources for the same information. Nowadays, I have no idea how to even cite AI if you are writing a research essay and you used an AI summary to kind of draw out a blurb of information or a single statistic. Are people citing AI in their papers? Like, I would love if there are any college kids who are watching my videos, like, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm specifically college kids who have learned how to cite AI in the work that they are putting out there. Very curious how you are doing that. But the issue is becoming that This practice is killing the open web. These tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity are sitting on top of human-generated content, and they're digesting it and they're summarizing it for you, but they aren't actually sending traffic back to the original source. And like I called out earlier, if people aren't getting traffic to their actual information that they're putting out online, are people going to be incentivized to continue to create for the internet as it stands? Famously, the New York Times is already suing OpenAI for training its models off of New York Times content. And they're not alone. Many other industries are touched by this, but journalism in particular is having an existential crisis of how do we maintain quality journalism when all of it's going to be ripped and we're not able to actually monetize off of the information that we are providing to the public. As web traffic drops, so does ad revenue. And like it or not, that is how the internet was built, and that is why so much of the internet stayed free for so long, is because traffic was leading to revenue. So people were incentivized to create online, like make news journalism, and all of this has been available on the internet for so long because of ad revenue. Where will humans start to turn when they want to create quality content and put it out there when they aren't incentivized to do it on the traditional internet? And also, if people are not learning how to actually determine if information is factual and they're just using AI summaries, AI can still hallucinate, you guys, or can sometimes have like inaccurate information that or things just kind of get spit out wrong. I notice this all the time when I start to dibble dabble with AI. Like, there are some things that have been just plain wrong. They'll invent sources, they'll misquote data or say it all, but have full confidence in the way that they're spitting it out there, but like actually there's some things that are wrong in whatever they are generating. So I think one of the biggest things to remember too is like AI can be wrong, and if you are just trusting whatever is being spit out by the chatbot, you might be into some trouble, or you might get into some trouble. Learning how to review and edit and question the AI summaries that you are reading is going to be an increasingly important skill, I believe, in the future of the internet and just like how we are putting out content online. That is actually going to be my second low confidence prediction of what's going to be happening in the future here. So with all these different trends impacting the open internet, what is happening is the internet is slowly starting to enclose on itself. We're turning to more of a closed internet. We used to just randomly surf the web. I remember it back in the day. I was surfing the web all the time. The joy that I got when I could sneak onto my parents' computer and surf the web as a little kid. Oh my goodness, that was true magic in the aughts, let me tell you. But now we all live inside of a couple different massive platforms. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, you know the ones. We're often all spending a little bit too much time on these different social media platforms. These are all algorithmic silos that keep us all fed and entertained and ultimately monetized. Don't forget that, all while never leaving that app that you're on. Even Google is starting to move more and more in this direction, with AI search results being at the top of the page now, where you don't even have to click. They don't want you clicking out of their Google environment. Or YouTube answers are often surfaced at the top too. Like, they want you to maintain your presence inside Google's ecosystem overall. We're no longer navigating the internet. We're not surfing around the web. We're not clicking into different pages to find information. We're just consuming whatever is being fed to us. This shift is a sad one because it kills discoverability and curiosity and exploration. I've talked about this in past videos, but this is definitely leading to the trends we are seeing in just losing individuality and this great flattening of culture that is happening across the world, where things are starting to look very similar, or people are wearing really similar types of clothes and speaking with the same little sound bites of language. Like, all of this is because we are starting to get trapped in these enclosed algorithmic platforms. And then when you think about the fact that we are starting to actually interact with content that we don't even know isn't coming from human creators. It's AI deepfakes, it's voice generated, like text-to-speech AI, avatars and fake influencers. It's all nonsense, but it's really perfectly compiled and put in this little package that you're going to consume while you're scrolling endlessly on your TikTok feed. One of my last big predictions of where I think all these trends might come together. I think, and optimistically, I hope that we are entering a new era of the digital economy. I would love to hear if you agree with this, but I think that as more AI slop starts to rise, as people start to realize that the internet is feeling emptier and emptier and hollower, I think that human-made, authentic content will start to have a premium placed on it. People will really be craving genuine human connection when so much of the rest of everything that we are consuming and all the online digital media is just starting to feel like garbage. Something similar happened in the industrial era when, industry and mass manufacturing was starting to explode. Then human-created goods and fabric and clothing, all of these got a premium price put on it because people wanted that thing that humans had actually touched and created. So I think in a similar way, human-created digital content will start to eventually have more of a premium placed on it, and human connection is going to be what everyone is wanting to engage with more. In a mass of dopamine hits and just being bombarded constantly with AI content and slop, the authenticity and uniqueness and soul and personality that you're gonna get from human-made stuff is going to feel so valuable. This is at least something that I believe. So is the internet actually dying? Maybe not. It might not actually be the full-on dead internet yet. I mean, I'm here, you are here. I don't think you're an AI if you made it to this point in the video, but you should probably subscribe just so I'm sure. While it's not dead, it may be dying a slow and painful death as we know it right now. And I do think it is being hollowed out. What was once this Wild West and messy and creative space that people were able to really contribute to is all being replaced by automation and silos and incessant noise. But still, I think there's a lot of hope. I think the pendulum's going to swing back in the other direction and people are going to seek out human content, hopefully support independent creators more, and spend less time in those algorithmic doom loops that those platforms are trying to push on you so they can get more of your engagement and monetize your times, like I have talked about in previous videos. I think we're also gonna start to pay for what matters more and more. I know for one, I pay for the New York Times because I gotta put my money where my mouth is. If I wanna make sure that journalism can stay alive while the internet is shifting, I'm gonna pay for it. It just feels like the right thing to do in this weird era of the dying internet. I love the internet. I don't want it to die. I'm a techie girl. I wanna support this, but I wanna make sure that I am supporting human creators. And if you're also someone who values thoughtful, mindful, human-driven content and wants to connect with other curious and like-minded individuals, I'm working on a little something where we can all connect more and come together. So a little bit more information to come, but you can check the link that I have down below. The internet was once this amazing digital garden of curiosity and discoverability, and those early days of the Wild West of the internet were so fun and innocent and naive. Who could have known what was coming a decade, 2 decades down the line? But I do think for us to prepare for what's to come in the next decade of the internet, it's up to us to make sure that it doesn't become this landfill of synthetic and AI generated slop, or at least we can start to be more intentional and conscious of the way that we are placing our time and energy and what we are consuming. While some of these themes seem scary, I truly have a ton of hope, and I hope that you do too. If you've made it to this point in the video, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment how you're feeling, because I would love to connect and hear how you're thinking about these topics, because I think that they are very important. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will talk again soon. Bye.